If you've ever experienced your car's engine revving up and down erratically while idling, you know how unsettling it can be. That jerking and shaking sensation, especially when paired with a check engine light, often signals an underlying issue that needs attention. RPM fluctuations at idle are typically caused by an imbalance in the air-fuel mixture, which disrupts the engine's smooth operation. Ideally, your engine requires a precise ratio of 14.7 parts air to 1 part fuel for efficient combustion. This balance ensures complete fuel burn, optimal heat generation, and consistent pressure within the cylinders, all of which contribute to stable RPMs. When this ratio is thrown off, the engine struggles to maintain a steady idle, leading to those frustrating fluctuations. Now let's explore the 10 most common reasons behind RPM fluctuations at idle. 1. Vacuum leaks. A vacuum leak is one of the most common causes of RPM fluctuations. Your engine relies on a precise balance of air and fuel, and the ECU adjusts the fuel injection based on the air entering the engine, as measured by the MAF sensor. However, if air enters the engine through a crack or loose connection without being detected by the MAF sensor, the ECU can't calculate the correct amount of fuel to inject. This imbalance in the air-fuel ratio leads to inefficient combustion and unstable RPMs. Common causes of vacuum leaks include cracked or loose vacuum hoses, a faulty PCV valve, or leaks in the intake manifold or throttle body gaskets. To test for vacuum leaks, you can spray brake cleaner around the engine bay while the car is running. If the RPMs change, you've likely found a leak. Alternatively, using an aerosol smoke machine can help pinpoint the exact location of the leak by creating a visible stream of smoke. Second, idle air control valve issues. The idle air control valve, or IACV, is responsible for managing the amount of air that bypasses the throttle body when the car is idling. Over time, the valve can become clogged with oil and carbon deposits, causing it to stick open or closed. If the valve sticks open, too much air enters the engine, disrupting the air-fuel ratio and leading to erratic RPMs. To test the IACV, unplug its harness connector while the engine is running. If the RPMs don't drop significantly, the valve is likely clogged and needs cleaning or replacement. Cleaning the IACV is a relatively simple process that can often resolve the issue. 3. Throttle body issues. The throttle body controls the amount of air entering the engine via a butterfly valve. At idle, this valve should be almost closed. However, if the throttle body becomes clogged with carbon deposits, the valve may stick slightly open, disrupting the air-fuel ratio and causing RPM fluctuations. Cleaning the throttle body can often resolve this issue. To do so, remove the air intake duct to access the throttle body and use an old toothbrush, sturdy paper towel, and brake cleaner to remove any gunk or grime. One user with a 2016 GMC Sierra Denali reported that cleaning the throttle body with AC Delco foam resolved their RPM fluctuation issues, so it's worth trying if you're experiencing similar problems. 4. Engine sensor issues. Your car's engine relies on a network of sensors to communicate with the ECU, and if any of these sensors malfunction, it can throw off the air-fuel mixture. Key sensors to check include the MAF sensor, oxygen sensor, engine coolant temperature sensor, and throttle position sensor. The MAF sensor measures the amount of air entering the engine, and if it's dirty or faulty, the ECU won't know how much fuel to inject. The O2 sensor monitors the oxygen levels in the exhaust gases, and a bad O2 sensor can cause the engine to run too rich or too lean. The ECT sensor tells the ECU the engine's temperature, and if it's faulty, the ECU might inject too much or too little fuel. The TPS measures the position of the throttle valve, and a malfunctioning TPS can trick the ECU into injecting more fuel than needed. To test these sensors, use a multimeter to check their output voltages and ensure they're functioning correctly. For example, the MF sensor's output voltage should increase from 1 volt to 1.7 volts as RPMs rise, while the O2 sensor's output voltage should stay within 0.1 volts to 0.9 volts. Additionally, inspect the sensor's harness connectors for corrosion or loose connections. Dirty engine air filter. A dirty or clogged engine air filter can restrict the amount of air entering the engine, leading to an imbalanced air-fuel mixture and RPM fluctuations. At idle, the engine is already receiving less air, and a clogged air filter can further reduce airflow, exacerbating the problem. Replacing a dirty air filter is a simple and inexpensive fix that can often resolve the issue. If your air filter looks dirty or hasn't been replaced in a while, it's worth checking and replacing it if necessary. 6. Bad battery or alternator. Your car's electrical system plays a crucial role in engine performance. The alternator converts mechanical energy into electrical energy to charge the battery and power the ECU and sensors. If the alternator is failing or the battery isn't holding a charge, the sensors won't work properly, leading to erratic RPMs. To test the alternator and battery, start the engine and check the battery terminals with a multimeter. You should see around 13.5 volts. Anything below 12.7 volts indicates a problem. Additionally, remove the serpentine belt and try to manually rotate the alternator pulley. If it's seized, the alternator needs replacement. Inspecting the wire connecting the alternator's B terminal to the battery's positive terminal is also important, as any breaks in this wire can disrupt the current supply to the battery. If you're finding this guide helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more auto repair tips and tricks. Now, let's move on to number 7. Fuel delivery problems. Fuel delivery issues such as a clogged fuel filter, weak fuel pump, or dirty fuel injectors can disrupt the flow of fuel to the engine, leading to an uneven air-fuel mixture. This is especially noticeable at idle, when the engine is most sensitive to changes in fuel supply. To diagnose fuel delivery issues, check the fuel pressure using a fuel pressure gauge, inspect the fuel filter for clogs, and consider using a fuel injector cleaner to remove deposits from the injectors. 8. Faulty spark plugs or ignition system. Worn or faulty spark plugs can cause misfires, which disrupt the engine's combustion process and lead to RPM fluctuations. Similarly, issues with the ignition coils or ignition wires can result in inconsistent spark delivery, further exacerbating the problem. Inspect the spark plugs for signs of wear, such as carbon buildup or cracked insulators, and replace them if necessary. Additionally, check the ignition coils and wires for damage or corrosion. 9. Exhaust system restrictions. A restricted exhaust system, such as a clogged catalytic converter, can cause back pressure to build up in the engine, leading to poor performance and RPM fluctuations. If the catalytic converter is clogged, it can prevent exhaust gases from exiting the engine efficiently, disrupting the air-fuel mixture and causing erratic idle behavior. To diagnose this issue, check for a lack of power during acceleration or a sulfur-like smell from the exhaust. Replacing a clogged catalytic converter can resolve the problem. 10. Dirty or faulty EGR valve. The exhaust gas recirculation or EGR valve is responsible for recirculating a portion of the exhaust gases back into the engine to reduce emissions. Over time, the EGR valve can become clogged with carbon deposits, causing it to stick open or closed. If the valve sticks open, it can disrupt the air-fuel mixture and lead to RPM fluctuations. Cleaning or replacing the EGR valve can often resolve this issue. RPM fluctuations at idle can be caused by a variety of issues, including vacuum leaks, a malfunctioning idle air control valve, throttle body problems, engine sensor issues, a dirty air filter, electrical problems, fuel delivery issues, faulty spark plugs, exhaust system restrictions, and a dirty or faulty EGR valve. By systematically diagnosing and addressing these potential causes, you can often resolve the problem and restore your engine's smooth operation. If you've tried everything and the issue persists, it may be time to consult a professional mechanic. However, with a little patience and some DIY know-how, you can often solve the issue yourself and save a trip to the shop. Got questions or tips about RPM fluctuations? Drop a comment below, and don't forget to subscribe for more auto repair tips and tricks. Thanks for reading, and happy driving!